performance. And now we join the final. Love all in the first game. What is interesting is that during this day we've had the quarterfinals, the semi-final and final. Gatien in his quarterfinal earlier this morning beat the current world champion Jürgen Persson in 5 very close games, and then, as we've just seen, beat Andre Gruber again in 5 very close games. So physically this is going to be a tough challenge for him. Waldner, on the other hand, beat his teammate, current European champion Michael Appelgren, 3-0 in the quarter-final, and again, as we've just seen, Roscoff 3-0 in the semi-final. So Waldner should be in better physical shape than Gatien. Let's see if he can use that to his advantage. Very clever backhand chop block there, blocking the ball but imparting backspin on it. Waldner, one of the best servers in the game, uses the high throw up frequently, throwing the ball high in the air. There we see that very technique. Shields the ball with his free arm. Makes it very difficult for Gatien to read the spin, and there we saw Gatien pushing the ball, thinking there was backspin on the ball, but there wasn't. A little bit of topspin, the ball returned far too high. Very good start by Waldner. But of course, very difficult to appreciate how good these serves are. Gatien not able to see the point of contact. Waldner's using his left arm, his free arm, to shield the point of contact between bat and ball. Gatien probably got the fastest footwork in the game, very quick to get round the backhand side of the table, and there we saw that, to play forehands. His backhand is certainly weaker than his forehand, but he compensates with this very quick footwork. His touch over the table, his short play, is a little suspect at this level, but he's had a tremendous season so far, and indeed at 23 years old I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of him in finals such as this. He's ranked 6th in the world at the moment, 4th in Europe. Superb shot by Waldner. They're taking the ball very early. Here we see it in slow motion, taking it early, off the bounce there. Little use of the wrist. Gatien no chance. If Waldner has a weakness, it's his concentration. Brilliant player, brilliant touch, an innovator. Plays shots that no one's ever seen before. I'm sure shots that he's never seen before. But he has been known to get overconfident in situations similar to this, when he has made a good start to a game. A few slack points, his opponent then often getting back into the game. Indeed, a little bit of frustration there. 7-2 lead, now down to 11-9. Excellent example of the quick footwork there. Here we see Waldner return the ball wide to the backhand, and look where Gatien is there, right round the backhand side of the table, playing a strong forehand. Superb footwork. Like a slightly nervous shot there by Waldner. Here we see it again. Gatien forced away from the table, lifts the ball high in the air. Should be Waldner's point. Waldner making an uncharacteristic, unforced error. Waldner's trying to play into Gatien's backhand, but of course if Gatien can read that, predict that, he's going to take chances and run round the backhand, so it's be a good idea for Waldner to play a few balls wide to Gatien's forehand and then make him play backhands from the backhand side. But at the moment, Waldner making far too many unforced errors, but now with his serves, I'm sure we'll be looking to make amends. The ball just catching the edge of the table there. Good forehand topspin, just caught the edge, 13-all. That's where Gatien is slightly weak. If you can put him under pressure down the backhand side, then he does make mistakes. Good example there. Waldner playing a little bit too much down the backhand, the point I made earlier. If Gatien knows the ball's coming down there, he's going to take a chance. He's going to use his tremendous footwork. There we see it, getting round the backhand, and again round the backhand with his forehand. Very powerful from that position. If anything now, Gatien with the upper hand, dominating with his forehand, taking the ball early, putting Waldner under a lot of pressure. Again, way around the backhand side there, Gatien. Superb forehand topspin. Waldner just not quite able to handle the pace. So it's 16-14 in the first game. Gatien serving short to Waldner's forehand most of the time, then looking to follow up with a strong forehand topspin. I'm sure we'll see the same again. There it is, short to the forehand, in with the forehand. Waldner clever there, pushed the first ball out to the backhand. Gatien a little bit slower there. Of course, if he's not sure if the ball's coming wide down the forehand, then he can't run round blind. He has to run round that split second later and then will make errors, as indeed he did there. It's that forehand from the backhand corner that's winning Gatien all the points so far. Again, I feel Waldner must be a little bit more imaginative with his returner serve, pushing everything short to the backhand. Here we see it. Gatien round again. I think he's got to flick a few balls wide down the forehand. There, wide to the forehand, winning the point. There it is, the wide ball to the forehand. Waldner using the towel there. The players, of course, allowed to do that in between the change of service. So it's 17-18, first game. Gatien's touch there, just a little lacking, allowing Waldner to get in with his forehand. Waldner holding back there on his forehand. Quite unusual for him. He's normally very relaxed in a pressured situation. I felt there that he held back. Again, an unforced error. Bit of variation on the return there. The long push from Gatien. Good return. They're trying to push it short to the forehand. Good variation by Gatien. Even though he lost the point, tactics were good. So the score, 19-20. Excellent returner serve there. Very difficult to read the spin. Gatien did it. Kept it tight. Waldner looking to get in with his forehand. Couldn't quite make it. So Gatien winning the first game, 21-19. Gatien will be very relieved to have got off to a start like this. Good tight return there, as we saw. Waldner obviously made his mind up he was going to follow in with a good forehand topspin. There we see, again, very tight return. Waldner just taking the ball off the end of the table.
Eurosport.
And so, after the first game, won by Gatien, we joined the second game at Love All. These two players, among the 12 players invited to participate in the European Masters, the 12 players were put into 4 groups of 3, with the top 2 qualifying for the quarter-final. $5,000 incentive for the group winners. Gatien, in fact, getting through to the final despite finishing second in his group. Roscoff winning that group. Roscoff, of course, who we saw lose to Waldner in the semi-final. Here we see Waldner keeping it down the backhand. Very clever tactical play there by Waldner. Good start now, 3-1 up. I'm sure we'll see him go down the forehand a little bit more. Gatien failed to read the service there. A little topspin serve from Waldner. Gatien thought there was backspin on, lifted the ball, but of course with topspin on, here we see it. There, a little bit of topspin there. The bat coming up the back of the ball. Looks like backspin, but in fact there's a little bit of topspin. Tremendous deception. Very difficult to appreciate. Waldner looking a little bit more determined now. Moving into a 6-1 lead at the beginning of the second game. Even though he missed that ball there, he was trying to play tactically well. He was playing the forehand down the line. That's the ball that's going to stop Gatien, ironically, running around his backhand, because he's going to be worried that Waldner's going to play down there. Super backhand there by Waldner, hitting the ball very hard, very flat. Not a lot of topspin on that ball. There, bang, straight into Gatien's backhand. That's the area he's got to exploit. He's got to force Gatien to play backhands from the backhand side. On the other hand, Gatien has got to look to dominate the game with his forehand, take a few chances, run round his backhand. Because if this game boils down to a backhand-to-backhand encounter, I feel very confident that Waldner will run out the winner. Undoubtedly, over the last 5-6 years, the world's best player, Jan-Ove Waldner. 1987, he was runner-up in the final of the World Men's Singles in New Delhi. Michel Gadal there. Gatien's coach, the French national team coach. Here we see Waldner's service, shielding the ball with the free arm. In 1989, Waldner was the world champion, beating his teammate Jürgen Persson in the final. And then in 1991, a few months ago in Shiba, Japan, it was the same two in the final, but a reverse in the score. Jürgen Persson beating Waldner. So he's been in the final of the World Men's Singles the last 3 times. Very, very consistent performance at the highest level possible. Gatien just a little bit slower there, getting round his backhand. 2 factors could be causing this. Waldner's going a little bit more down the forehand to keep him guessing, so he can't take as many chances. But also remember the point I made earlier, Gatien's played 2 very hard matches, going the full distance earlier today. And possibly fitness telling. Perfect tactics. First ball wide to the forehand, second ball wide to the backhand, made him play backhands from the backhand side, set up the winner. Excellent play. Waldner now tactically playing exceptionally well. Here we see it, wide down his backhand, keeping him down the backhand side, forcing him to play backhands until he gets the angle, then wide down the forehand. Still Waldner not happy, making a few unforced errors. Waldner leading 12-8. Here we see Gatien serve, himself one of the best servers in the world. Similar tactics there to Waldner, making it very difficult for the opponent to see the point of contact. Marvellous touch there by Waldner, unbelievable touch. Here we see it again. Excellent forehand, and watch this drop shot here. A little bit of backspin on the ball, incredibly difficult shot to play. Probably the best touch in the world. Not probably the best touch, he has got the best touch in the world. Fantastic play there. 14-8 in the second game. Gatien, of course, a few years younger than Waldner, has really come through in the last few years. And certainly going to Barcelona, Gatien must be looking towards a medal. There we see Jürgen Persson, the current world champion, talking to Andre Gruber. Both players, no doubt, reflecting on what could have been. In fact, in the 1988 Olympics in Seoul, Gatien lost to England's Alan Cook. Alan Cook, English champion on 2 occasions and Commonwealth champion. Again himself, fairly young and a great prospect for the future. So Gatien leading 16-10. Even though he lost the rally, what was evident there, that was quite clear, is he's forcing Gatien to play more backhands. If he can do that, as I said earlier, I feel there's only one winner. If Gatien gets in with his forehands, then Gatien could very easily win the game. Little unlucky there, Gatien, trying a good variation in service. The long fast serve wide to the forehand, just caught the top of the net. Again, that's where Gatien's at his best. The ball into his backhand, he's quickly round, whips in that forehand. Very quick on his feet, very quick to play the forehand topspin. Waldner's touch there, excellent. Stopping Gatien get in, forcing Gatien to block. And they're keeping him down the forehand. He's not sure where the ball's going now. Waldner clearly thinking about the game now. Moving the ball around. Perfect.
18-13.
Slightly overconfident shot, I feel there. Still leading 18-13, but by no means the game over. Bad service there. In table tennis, you either serve short, so the second bounce would be round about the white line, or the long fast serve. That was in between the two. Gave Gatien an easy forehand topspin. Good play there by Waldner. Good tight service, allowing him to get in with his forehand. Again, not a particularly good serve. Bounce quite high. Gatien, very good backhand topspin there. A lot of risk going into it as it was taken over the table. So it's 19-15 in the second game. Bad error, I think, there by Gatien. The service didn't look particularly good. Good chance for him to make a winner. 15-20 down, but of course he's serving. Still in there with a chance. So there we have it. 1 game all. Waldner relieved, no doubt, to get that game under his belt. Remember, of course, it's the first player to win 3 games. Wins the first European Masters title and a cheque for $25,000. Michel Gadal there, I'm sure, giving expert advice to Jean-Philippe Gatien. The two of them have worked together for many years. But there's their problem at the moment. Former world champion Jan-Ove Waldner. And of course Waldner at his best when big money's at stake.
Eurosport.
Just in the same group as the world champion Jürgen Persson and Jean-Michel Save. He's already beaten Persson this year in the German Bundesliga, but on this occasion lost. But beat Jean-Michel Save 3 straight, qualified therefore for the quarter-final, where, as mentioned previously, he lost to Jörg Roskoff, the German #1 player. So it's now 1-1 in the third game. I'm sure the respective coaches have advised them accordingly in Waldner's case to play the ball wide down the forehand early in the rally, and there we saw that very thing, and then pin Gatien down the backhand side, making play backhands from the backhand. There we go. Excellent fast backhand push there, wide to the forehand, and then a superb forehand topspin wide down the backhand. And again, that push wide to the forehand. Waldner making his tactics very clear. Gatien, on the other hand, has excellent footwork. He's got to look to really move around the table, try to dominate with his forehand. Put Waldner under pressure all the time. If he serves well, if he receives well, Gatien's got a good chance. Slightly fortunate there, Gatien, catching the edge of the table. Must point out that it's not quite as easy as it looks. There we see Gatien's footwork, very quick on his feet, particularly moving in the right direction when he's moving round his backhand to get in with that forehand. Bad error there by Waldner. Good serve. Gatien didn't read it particularly well. Waldner followed in with a forehand. Should have been looking to win that point. The point I was making earlier is that Waldner plays very well on the backhand side. Some balls coming through flat with no spin. The next ball coming through with a lot of top spin. Very difficult to get into a rhythm against such a player. Good point there for Gatien. Here we see it again. Long service. Good forehand down the backhand. Moving it around the table. Wide to the forehand. Keeping it down that forehand. There goes the winner into Waldner's backhand. That's how Gatien's got to play. Up to the table, playing forehands. So there we are, 6-7. If he can force Waldner to block, then he's got a chance, a very good chance. That looked a bad error by Gatien, but there was a tremendous amount of backspin there by Waldner. Superb touch, holds the bat quite loose in his hand, allows him to get a lot of wrist into the shot. And there we see it, a side spin chop block there, a shot very rarely seen. Clever service there by Gatien, long fast serve into the backhand, forcing Waldner to play a relatively soft ball, allowing Gatien to dominate the rally. Again there, Gatien getting in with that forehand, 8-all. The Deutsche Tischtennisbund, the DTTB, done a marvellous job in organising this tournament. I've spoken to most of the players during the event. All have been delighted with the organisation, the playing conditions, the officials. It really has been an excellent event. I know Alan Ransom, the chairman of the English Table Tennis Association, will be watching this event with interest. The ETTA looking to stage many high-profile events in the next few years. Always keen to pick up a few tips from an organisational point of view. So it's 9-10. Good serve by Waldner there. On that occasion he did put a lot of backspin on the ball, actually coming underneath the ball, holding the bat very loose, very fast accelerating bat. The rubber is very tacky, grips the ball, puts a lot of backspin on the ball. Superb backhand there by Gatien. Normally he's been going on the diagonal. Here we see him play an excellent backhand down the line, and we saw Waldner there going for the ball that he thought, and indeed I thought, was going down his forehand. Gatien now going 12-10 into the lead. Crucial game, of course, this. Table tennis, of course, to the non-table tennis fans, may have the image of a non-physically demanding sport, but as you can see here, these players moving around the table very quick. Gatien's already played 2 games today, both lasting over an hour. So like in most sports, fitness is absolutely vital. The players, of course, all full-time players, all in excellent physical condition. So 12-13, Waldner serving. Bad service there. Slightly bouncy, neither short nor long, as you can see there. Gatien punished it, as indeed it deserved. So 12-14. Good positive play there by Waldner, following his service up. Slightly fortunate, I don't think that was a particularly good serve, but he got away with it. So it's 14-all. Again, Gatien's touch just letting him down. Ever so unlucky though, the ball just catching the top of the net, falling on the wrong side from his point of view. There's the tactics that Waldner has persisted with. The short service, then the forehand topspin into the backhand. They're winning him the point straight away. It's been an excellent crowd here in Bonn. Very supportive, very fair, appreciating good play. And the score now 14-16. Unlucky there, Gatien. Again, it was his short play. Just over the table, his touch just letting him down. He went for the flick then, just caught the top of the net off the end of the table. 14-17. Good play there by both players. Gatien very quick to get round. Waldner short to the forehand and then into the backhand. Again, short to the forehand, into the backhand. But not hard enough. Gatien's superb footwork there, enabling him to get round and play a very strong forehand topspin. Brings him right back into the game. 16-17. Again, that short ball is giving Gatien's a few problems. If he could have made a few more points on the short play, then of course he'd be a few points in front instead of a few points behind. So it's 16-18. So 18-17 in the third game. Waldner serving, big advantage, just like in tennis. In fact, it's no different. There we see Gatien serve, shielding it with a free arm, following him with the forehand topspin, winning him the point. As I was saying there, service in table tennis equally as important as the service in tennis. Again, the long fast serve to the forehand, the block into the backhand, forcing Gatien to play backhands from the backhand side. Again, Waldner's tactics clear, hard into the backhand, hard wide to the forehand, just missing on that occasion. 19-18 up. Absolutely vital points now. Someone using a flash camera there in the crowd, very distracting for the players, particularly at 19-18. There we see him again. Waldner pinning Gatien down the backhand side, forcing him to play backhands, forcing him into an error. Waldner leading 20-18. The third game, one game all. Very difficult to predict the service here. Waldner's such a creative player, probably short to the forehand. Excellent play there. Good return of service. It was a good service. Gatien got in and topspun it. Waldner topspinned into Gatien's backhand, and that's setting up the point. So Waldner winning the second game 21-18. Puts him 2-1 in the lead. Waldner there changing his shirt. Here we see that last point. Gatien did well there, got in. Good topspin by Waldner into the backhand. Gatien responded with an excellent block. Just couldn't quite get round on the backhand side. But look how far he is round the backhand side of the table. There we see a close-up of the service. Probably the best server in the world. Very difficult to read the spin. So now Gatien has a very difficult task in front of him. He has to win the last two games to win the European Masters. In the final, Waldner leading 2-1, needing one of the remaining two games to win this first European Masters title and the cheque for $25,000 that goes with it. Of course, Waldner has already pocketed $5,000 for winning his group. In his group, he beat Zoran Primorac of Yugoslavia, although I should be saying Croatia now with the political problems there, and he beat the German Stefan Fetzner. Progressed to the final with wins against Michael Appelgren, and then in the semi-final Jörg Roskopf, the home country's favourite player. Swedish coach there making sure the numbers not interfering with his play. Jörg Roskopf there plays for Dusseldorf, talking to his teammate Thierry Cabrera of Belgium. Belgium doing very well in the recent World Championships, finishing third in the team event. So Gatien, a tremendous physical task in front of him. There's Jürgen Persson, current world champion. Sat next to him, Andrzej Gruber of Poland. Both players currently playing in the German Bundesliga. And in fact, earlier this week, Andre Gruber's club, Grenzhau, beat Jürgen Persson's club Saarbrücken 5-4 in the German Cup. England's Carl Preen playing for Saarbrücken alongside Jürgen Persson. Carl's made an excellent start to the season in the Bundesliga, winning 6 of his first 8 games against some of the best players in Europe and the world. Very encouraging for England's future this season. England, of course, will be competing in the European Championships, the European Nations Cup in Munich, the World Team Cup in Barcelona in November, and then, as Great Britain, in the Olympic Games later in July, August. A very exciting season in front. So the score now 3-2, Gatien's favour at the start of the 4th game. Tremendous play there by Gatien. Bearing in mind the really gruelling schedule he's been through today, very quick to get round his backhand there. Superb forehand down the line. There we see his serves, the free arm making it difficult to see. Good backhand topspin and a good forehand down the line. It's important for any youngsters listening, this question of playing down the line as well as the diagonal. The opponent therefore not sure where the ball's going. Good tactics there by Waldner, returning the service wide to the forehand. It's quite ironic that when you're playing a player with a strong forehand, the natural tendency is to think, well, I'll keep it down his backhand. But in fact, that's possibly the worst thing you can do, because they anticipate that, run round the backhand, and most forehand topspin players are very good from the backhand with the forehand. It's good to go out wide to the forehand early in the rally, then make them play backhands from the backhand side and keep them down the backhand side. And there we see Waldner using his feet extremely well, taking the ball quite low. So the score there, 4-5. Again, Gatien short play, just letting him down. I stress just, the ball catching the top of the net, just not quite going over. Mr. Ogimura there in the background, president of the ITTF, accompanied by Hans Gabe, president of the DTTB, and I'm sure a very proud man as this tournament comes towards the end. It's been an excellent event, well appreciated by everybody concerned, the players, officials, spectators and all. So Waldner leading 8-5. Oh, Waldner playing really well there. Here we see quite a good service, but Gatien strong there, but Waldner able to block Gatien's topspin and recover and win the rally with a forehand down the line. There we see Gatien scrambling for that one down the line, not quite getting to it. Waldner now not far off his best, if not at his best. Superb reactions there, playing the 2 angles, into the backhand, wide to the forehand. Marvellous play. Both these players are excellent example to any youngsters watching from a temperament point of view. Both keeping remarkably composed, no tantrums. Excellent advertisement for the game of table tennis. Superb play here. Gatien bringing Waldner in and out. Waldner equal to the task. Superb footwork, superb touch, winning the point. 11-5. Here we see the point again. Short to Gatien's forehand. Good block there. Gatien very quick there, off the bounce. Waldner chopping that ball back. A little bit of backspin. Good drop shot. Waldner's in to counter it. Quick across wide to his forehand. No spin on that ball. And there we see Gatien lifting the spin that unfortunately for him wasn't there. So 6-11 now. Waldner with a 5-point cushion. Slightly fortunate there, the ball clipping the top of the net. Although if I was Waldner's coach, I'd be making sure he keeps his concentration at this stage. Remember what happened in the first game, similarly to this, ended up in defeat. Gatien winning that point 12-7. Speaking to Waldner earlier this week about the forthcoming season, he's one big hope this season. The one thing that's eluded him so far is a gold medal at the Olympics. course, table tennis now a full sport in the Olympic programme. And Waldner, of course, one of the favourites to take the men's singles title. Not a good return of service there by Gatien, pushing the ball high, but he recovered, not quite well enough. So it's 14-8. Waldner so good there, hooking the ball wide down Gatien's backhand, putting side spin on it. Then the next minute, he fades the ball wide down Gatien's forehand. Very good at playing the angles. So 14-9. Bad service there by Waldner, allowing Gatien to get in. But what wonderful touch there. Gatien played 2 or 3 very fast forehand topspins. There we see it, absolute rockets. Waldner just blocks them back with his backhand, makes it look easy, steps around and makes a winner with his forehand. Waldner just relaxing a little bit there, 2 or 3 slack serves. Again, it's this question of his concentration. Gatien serving now. Gatien serves well here. Certainly be looking to pick up 4 of the 5 points. Maybe even all 5, and then we've got a real game on our hands. So it's 10-15. Wonderful play there by Gatien. Strong backhand topspin. Whip round with his feet. Strong forehand topspin. There's the backhand on the diagonal. Whips round with a forehand topspin down the line. Waldner clever there, making him play backhands, not allowing him to get in with that forehand. So 11-16. Superb play by Waldner there. Gatien can't complain about Gatien's play there. Quickly round, but Waldner's reaction stunning. Superb block wide down Gatien's forehand. So it's 11-17. Waldner attempting that side spin chop block, not quite coming off that time. Score 12-17. Waldner will be quite happy to have taken 2 points so far from Gatien's serves. So the score 12-17. Gatien a little unlucky there. He got round well, he moved quickly round. Possibly the demands of the day physically causing him to move a fraction slower. He's had 2 superb victories against the world champion and against probably the most consistent player in Europe, Andre Gruber. Can he pull off the final victory of the day? A very daunting task now as he's 18-13 down. (18-14). Gatien fighting for every point. Very determined player. Unforced error there. Maybe trying to do a little bit too much on the service. 18-15. Bad return by Gatien there, pushed the ball very high, thought there was backspin, but then to his amazement, I'm sure, Waldner missing the high ball. So 18-16. This point is crucial for Waldner, bearing in mind Gatien's got the serves at the end of this 4th game. There, Waldner not known for showing his expressions, showing he was relieved to win that point, but played it tactically well. Pinned Gatien down the backhand side. So 16-19, Gatien serving. That's the tactics I'm sure we're going to see. Short serve, middle and forehand. Gatien then looking to get in with his forehand topspin. Waldner on the other hand, obviously trying to stop him do that. Clever tactics there. What a wonderful shot by Gatien there, under pressure. Tight ball to his forehand. Waldner anticipating the ball coming on the diagonal. Then it goes straight down the line. Waldner running blind there, moving round his backhand before he saw where Gatien was going to hit the ball. Makes a desperate lunge. ends up on the floor. Of course, the problem now is that with his wet shirt caused by all the running around he's had to do, the floor's now wet, which of course makes it very dangerous. So Waldner just rubbing the floor down with his towel. 18-19. Gatien unlucky there, did everything right. Good service, followed in with a good backhand. Amazing reactions by Waldner there. Not many players can let Gatien get in with a shot like that and then make a winner from it. So 18-20, 2 match points. Tremendous footwork there by Gatien. Absolutely unbelievable at the end of such a hard day. There he is, right round the backhand side. He gets across to the wide ball to the forehand, nearly slips, recovers, another rocket forehand topspin, winning him the point. So it's now 19-20, 1 match point saved. Look how cool both players in fact are at this stage. Pressure enormous, playing for a lot of money. Good tactics there by Waldner. Pushed it short, kept Waldner quiet, then went for the forehand topspin down the backhand side. Good positive play by Waldner, even though he lost the point. If I was the Swedish coach, I'd be reasonably encouraged by that. Obviously disappointed he lost the point, but tactically he played it well. Oh, a little lucky there, Waldner. Gatien just misjudging that ball slightly, although it did catch the top of the net. Giving Waldner his 3rd match point. Of course, going with the title is the cheque for $25,000 to go with the $5,000 he's already won for winning the group. Unlucky there, Waldner going for a hard backhand, but Gatien moving incredibly well, playing strong forehand topspins, very brave play. Not only a great player, but very mentally strong, Gatien. A bad service there by Waldner. Gatien will be very disappointed to have missed that ball. I think he mishit it. I'm not sure how the error was made, but it was certainly a bad mistake. It gives Waldner his 4th match point. Oh, Gatien serves off the end of the table. The crowd stunned into silence. Waldner acknowledges his slight bit of good fortune at the end. In fairness to Gatien, he was going for a different service. He'd previously been serving short to the middle and forehand. He went for the long fast serve down the line there. Had it have come off, it would have been a great service and I'm sure set him up to win the point. Just caught the top of the net and went off the table. Michel Gadal consoling Jean-Philippe Gatien there. But Gatien's got a lot to be proud of today. He's performed marvellously well. He's been a great credit to the French Table Tennis Association. 2 superb victories and extended the former world champion all the way. And slightly unfortunate there with that long fast service down the backhand that just caught the top of the net. But there we have, in my opinion, the greatest player in the world. 3 times finalist of the World Championships, World Cup winner, now the European Masters winner. He's won every title. Will he go on later this season to dominate the Olympics and become Sweden's first gold medalist? So it's goodbye from Donald Parker in Bonn, Germany. Hope you've enjoyed the table tennis.